He is the titan of American acting, a man who defined cinematic intensity, known for his portrayal of powerful, often lonely patriarchs. But Al Pacino, the notorious lifelong bachelor, who seemed to live only for his craft, kept his most complex role hidden off-screen father to 4 children born across 3 decades, to 3 different women, the last one arriving when he was 83 years old. So what became of the heirs to this chaotic and singular legacy? How did they navigate the colossal shadow of a man who was arguably more a force of nature than a conventional father? Welcome. You clicked on this video because you know the legend, but you sense the real human drama lies within the family he built. In fits and starts, a family as unconventional as his career. In this exhaustive, deep-dive documentary, we will tell the complete multi-generational and largely untold story of all 4 of Al Pacino's children. We will explore the life of his eldest daughter, Julie Pacino, born at his 80s career peak, who followed him into the family business of filmmaking. We will delve into the lives of his twins, Anton James and Olivia Rose, born to actress Beverly D'Angelo when Pacino was 60, and their famously fraught custody battle. And finally, we will examine the recent headline-grabbing story of his 4th child, Roman Pacino, born to a partner 54 years his junior, sparking a global media frenzy. To bring you this incredible, sprawling family saga, we have gone far beyond the red carpets and the tabloid headlines. We have meticulously researched Pacino's own biographical history, analyzed the public custody battles, delved into the creative careers of his children, who have stepped into the spotlight and respected the profound privacy chosen by others. This is not just a superficial, "Where are they now?" It is a deep, unflinching exploration of the unique pressures of inheriting one of the most famous names, enacting the challenges of being raised by an aging, iconoclastic genius, and the 4 individuals who represent the complex and still unfolding Pacino dynasty. Prepare to understand the full, complex, and deeply human story behind the Pacino heirs. Number 4. The firstborn, the filmmaker. Julie Marie Pacino. The story of the Pacino children begins not in his youth, but in his middle age. After decades as Hollywood's most famously elusive bachelor, Al Pacino at age 49 finally became a father. This firstborn daughter would inherit his artistic drive and follow him into the family business. But her path would be marked by her own distinct vision and a public stumble that threatened to define her. Born on October 16, 1989, Julie Marie Pacino was the first child of Al Pacino and the only child from his long-term relationship with acting coach Jan Tarrant. Her birth came at a fascinating critical juncture in her father's career. The 1980s had been a turbulent decade for him. After the colossal culture-defining role in Scarface 1983, he had starred in the massive critical and commercial flop Revolution 1985. An experience so devastating, it drove him from film for 4 years, forcing him to return to the theater to recharge. He had just made his triumphant cinematic comeback with Sea of Love 1989, the same year Julie was born. Pacino was 49 years old, a man known for his intense, all-consuming devotion to his craft and his series of high-profile but non-committal relationships. Fatherhood was not a role the public, or perhaps even he, had ever truly envisioned for him. Julie grew up primarily with her mother Jan Tarrant in New York, away from the intense Hollywood glare her father often inhabited. However, Pacino, despite his unconventional personal life and separation from Tarrant, was reportedly a present and loving father, albeit in his own way. He has spoken of Julie's birth as a life-altering event, giving him a new perspective and sense of responsibility. Julie grew up in a world steeped in the arts, not just from her father's legendary career, but from her mother's work as a respected acting coach. It was an environment where creativity, storytelling, and performance were the family's native language. It was almost inevitable that Julie would be drawn to the family business, film. But unlike her father, the iconic performer, Julie's passion gravitated towards the other side of the camera. She developed an interest in writing and directing, She pursued this passion academically, attending the prestigious New York Film Academy. She began her career by writing and directing a series of short films, honing her craft and developing her own voice. Her work, often focusing on intimate character-driven stories, began to gain recognition at film festivals. She founded her own production company, Poverty Row Entertainment, a name that suggests a gritty, independent ethos, perhaps a deliberate contrast to the high-budget Hollywood world her father dominated. Her short films like The Tata Show and Nowhere Ever After showcased a sensitive, nuanced style. She has also worked as a producer, shepherding other independent projects. In 2020, she produced her first feature-length film, Billy Knight, which notably starred Charlie Heaton of Stranger Things and her own father, Al Pacino. This collaboration marked a significant full-circle moment, with the daughter now producing a project featuring her legendary father, a powerful reversal of the expected dynamic. However, Julie's journey has not been without its public struggles. In July 2011, at the age of 21, she was arrested in New York City for driving under the influence DUI. Police pulled her over at a checkpoint, and she was found to have a blood alcohol level over the legal limit. This scandal was a public relations nightmare, a moment that played into the stereotype of the troubled celebrity kid. The headlines were predictable, and the incident undoubtedly caused immense personal embarrassment and family strain. But this is also a key part of her story. Following the arrest, Julie did not spiral into a public pattern of self-destruction. She dealt with the legal consequences, which reportedly included a misdemeanor plea and community service, and then quietly, determinedly got back to work. She refocused on her filmmaking, her production company, and building her career. The incident, rather than defining her, became a singular, difficult chapter that she overcame. The untold story of Julie Pacino is one of quiet determination. She is the firstborn who had to navigate the immense pressure of being the only Pacino heir for over a decade. She embraced the family business, but chose a different, less traveled path within it, writing and directing. A field where her father himself had only dabbled, looking for Richard Chinese coffee. She faced a public, humiliating stumble, but demonstrated resilience by refocusing on her craft. She has successfully built a legitimate, respected career as an independent filmmaker, even reaching a point of professional peerage where she could hire her own father. Her journey is one of finding her own creative authority in the shadow of one of the greatest authorities in acting history. Julie Pacino established her place as the artistic filmmaking heir, navigating her 80s-born New York-based path. But over a decade later, when Al Pacino was past 60, his life took another sharp, unexpected turn. His relationship with actress Beverly D'Angelo didn't just give him one more child. It gave him two. The twins' arrival and their parents' subsequent bitter split would create an entirely different and far more complex family dynamic. Number 3. The Invisible Son. The Mystery of Anton James Pacino. The Pacino saga's second act begins with a miracle and then a war. At age 60, Al Pacino welcomed twins, including his first son. But the joy was short-lived, followed by one of the most bitter and public celebrity custody battles of the era. This son, born into a media firestorm, would make a radical choice as he grew to become a ghost, vanishing completely from the public eye. Born on January 25, 2001, Anton James Pacino, along with his twin sister Olivia, was born into a world of media fascination. Their father, Al Pacino, was 60 years old. Their mother, actress Beverly D'Angelo, famous for the National Lampoon's vacation films, was 49. Their birth was a celebrated miracle, the result of a long and difficult in vitro fertilization IVF journey, which D'Angelo later spoke about publicly. Pacino, the lifelong bachelor, was now a father of 3. The idyllic family image, however, fractured almost immediately. Pacino and D'Angelo, who had been together since 1997, split acrimoniously in 2003 when the twins were just 2 years old. What followed was not a quiet separation, but a brutal, headline-grabbing custody battle that laid bare the deep dysfunction of their relationship. This scandal is the crucial context for understanding Anton's life. Beverly D'Angelo filed for primary custody and unleashed a torrent of accusations in court documents painting Pacino as a controlling, harassing, and menacing figure who had never even changed a diaper and who treated his children like possessions. She claimed he ran a household of rotating nannies and demanded absolute control over the children's lives, despite his frequent absences. Pacino fired back, accusing D'Angelo of using the children as hostages to extort money. The battle was intensely public, deeply personal, and incredibly ugly. The world was given a front-row seat to the dismantling of the family unit, with 2 toddlers at its center. Eventually, the pair reached a joint custody agreement, and Anton and Olivia were raised co-parenting between 2 of Hollywood's most powerful and perhaps most volatile actors. They grew up in Los Angeles, a world of privilege, but also a world defined by this foundational conflict and the constant presence of paparazzi documenting their every move between their parents' 2 homes. While his twin sister Olivia would eventually develop a public-facing personality on social media, Anton James Pacino made the opposite choice. He chose complete and total anonymity. His entire life has been a study in deliberate obscurity, in an age where nearly every celebrity child is tracked, photographed, and documented. Anton has achieved something remarkable. He is essentially invisible. There are almost no clear recent photos of him. He has no public social media presence. He has never given an interview. He has never been arrested or involved in any public controversy. He has not pursued a career in acting, music, or any public-facing field. This silence is his story. This is the untold story because he refuses to allow it to be told. We can only speculate on the reasons for this profound retreat. Was it a direct reaction to the trauma of his parents' public custody battle? Did he witness the chaos and decide from a young age that he wanted no part of it? Was it a rebellion against his father's all-consuming fame? A way to carve out the one space that his father could never dominate, his own private life? Or is he simply an introvert, a quiet, scholarly individual whose personality is fundamentally at odds with the world he was born into? His mother, Beverly D'Angelo, has occasionally offered tiny protective glimpses, describing him as artistic and more of an old soul, perhaps more like his father in temperament than his more outgoing sister. But these glimpses are rare and carefully guarded. He remains by choice a mystery. The untold story of Anton Pacino is the story of a successful escape. He is the son who saw the price of fame, the public battles, the loss of privacy, the constant scrutiny, and decided not to pay it. His life is a quiet but powerful act of defiance, a refusal to be defined by his father's legend. He is the invisible son of one of the world's most recognizable men, a master of obscurity who has achieved the one thing his parents never could, a normal, unseen life. Anton chose the path of total anonymity, a ghost in the Hollywood machine. His twin sister, however, born in the same moment and raised in the same public storm, made a different choice. She would navigate her life within the spotlight, embracing social media and public relationships, creating a different, more modern strategy for dealing with the Pacino name. Number 2. The social twin, Olivia Rose Pacino. The twin sister born into the same chaos, the same custody battle, the same overwhelming fame. But where her brother chose invisibility, she chose visibility. Her journey would be one of navigating the modern landscape of celebrity, using social media to define her own image and publicly manage her life and relationships, all under the watchful eye of her father's legendary shadow. Born minutes after her brother Anton on January 25, 2001, Olivia Rose Pacino shared his entire unique upbringing: the IVF miracle birth, the 60-year-old father, the 49-year-old mother, and the brutal public custody battle that defined their toddler years. She too was raised in the co-parenting crucible of Los Angeles, shuttling between her two famous parents' homes. However, as the twins grew, their chosen paths diverged dramatically. While Anton retreated, Olivia stepped forward not into the traditional media of her parents' film television, but into the new media of her own generation, Instagram. Unlike her brother, Olivia maintains a public social media presence where she curates her own image. Her feed presents a life that is both privileged and in some ways relatable to her generation. It showcases her love for her dog, her artistic side. She often posts about art and creative projects, and her circle of friends. Crucially, it also showcases an affectionate and close relationship with her father. She has posted loving tributes to Al Pacino, sharing candid personal photos of them together. A modern public-facing form of connection that seems to counter the old harsh narratives from the custody battle. She appears to be in many ways the more social and perhaps more traditional actor's daughter of the pair. Olivia has also shown a clear interest in following her parents and older half-sister into the family business. She has reportedly studied acting and has appeared in at least one independent film. She has also shared clips of herself singing, possessing a strong, soulful voice. She is clearly exploring her creative options, but faces the same dilemma as Julie: how to build a career in the arts when your father is quite literally Al Pacino. Her most significant public exposure outside of her father has been through her personal life. For a time, she was in a high-profile relationship with Griffin Johnson, a TikTok star and social media personality. This pairing was a fascinating collision of era's Olivia, the heir to one of the most respected acting legacies of the 20th century, dating a star from the new chaotic world of 21st century digital fame. Their relationship and its eventual rumored end was chronicled on gossip sites and social media, marking her scandal as a thoroughly modern one, navigating love and breakups in the public eye just as her father once did, but with the added pressure of instant global digital commentary. The untold story of Olivia Pacino is her role as the visible twin. She represents a different strategy for coping with the legacy. Instead of total retreat like Anton, Olivia's path is one of curated engagement. She controls her own narrative through her Instagram, presenting the image she wants the world to see. The loving daughter, the creative artist, the young woman living her life. She is navigating the shadow, but on her own social media terms. Her journey is a fascinating look at what it means to be a Nepo baby in the 2020s, balancing the weight of the past with the tools of the present. The twins Anton and Olivia represent a remarkable dichotomy of privacy and publicity, a second family born in Pacino's 60s. For over 2 decades, the world assumed his family was complete. But in 2023, Al Pacino, now in his 80s, shocked the world one last time, announcing the arrival of his 4th child. A son born to a partner over 50 years his junior, sparking a global media circus. Number 1. The Last Son, Roman Alfalfa Pacino. The final and most astonishing chapter. Just when the world thought the Pacino legacy was set, the 83-year-old icon announced he was a father again. The birth of his 4th child, a son born to a woman 54 years his junior, sparked a global media frenzy, raising profound questions about age, legacy, and the complex, unending drama of Al Pacino's personal life. Born on June 6, 2023, Roman Alfalfa Pacino's arrival was not just a family event. It was a global headline. His father, Al Pacino, was 83. His mother, Noor Alfalfa, was 29. The 54-year age gap between the parents became the immediate focus of a media firestorm. The scandal of Roman's story began before he was even born. When the news of Alfalfa's pregnancy broke, sources close to Pacino claimed he was shocked and unaware. He could still father a child allegedly due to medical issues. Reports swirled that he had demanded a prenatal DNA test to confirm paternity, which Alfalfa reportedly agreed to, and which confirmed he was the father. This public drama painted a picture not of joyful anticipation, but of complex, contentious negotiations. Noor Alfalfa herself was already a figure of media interest. A film producer from a wealthy family, she was known for her high-profile relationships with other much older, wealthy and famous men, including Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger and billionaire Nicholas Berggren. This history added fuel to the tabloid narrative, with cynics framing the relationship and pregnancy in purely transactional terms. Just 3 months after Roman's birth, the story took another legal turn. Alfalfa filed for primary physical custody of their son, while agreeing to joint legal custody, giving Pacino a say in education, medical decisions, etc. She also requested that Pacino pay for her legal fees and all costs associated with the baby. Court documents revealed a child support agreement where Pacino would pay over $30,000 a month in addition to other expenses, including a $110,000 upfront payment, $13,000 a month for a night nurse, and contributions to an education fund. While the pair's representatives claimed they were still together, the legal filings suggested a relationship already transitioning into a complex co-parenting arrangement managed by lawyers and court agreements. The untold story of Roman Pacino is the story that is yet to be written, but its parameters are already extraordinary. He is a child of his father's extreme old age. His half-sister Julie is 34 years his senior. His twin half-siblings Anton and Olivia are 22 years older. He is effectively of the same generation as his half-niece Julie's daughter. He will grow up in a world where his father is a historical legend, a figure from a bygone era of cinema. His primary experience of his father will likely be as an elderly, perhaps frail man, not the explosive dynamic force of the Godfather or Scarface. His upbringing will be defined by his young, social media-savvy mother and the immense wealth and complex legacy he is set to inherit. Roman's life represents a fascinating, almost bizarre coda to the Pacino dynasty. He is the son of the digital age, born to the titan of the analog one. His journey will be about navigating a world where his father is a myth. His mother is a modern producer, and his inheritance is both a massive fortune and one of the most famous names in Hollywood history. He is the final unexpected heir, his story just beginning under the most unusual of circumstances. The 4 lives of the Pacino children, the filmmaker, the recluse, the social twin, and the newborn heir, paint a sprawling, complex portrait of a Hollywood dynasty defined by one man's singular, all-consuming genius. Pacino's story of intense dedication to his craft and the complicated, often unconventional family life that resulted is a classic Hollywood tale. But his intensity is rivaled by another global superstar. That superstar is, of course, Tom Cruise. On this channel previously, we explored the fascinating story of Tom Cruise's 3 children. Did you know that behind his billion-dollar smile and death-defying stunts lies a family story fractured by one of the most powerful and controversial belief systems in modern history? The full, complex, and largely hidden story of the 2 children who remained within Scientology and the 1 daughter who famously escaped is one you won't want to miss. Click the video on your screen right now to uncover that incredible, untold story. And as always, thank you for watching.